Now that we understand what a reciprocal is, we can begin to work on problems like dividing whole numbers by fractions. And it's a very simple process now that we know how to multiply two fractions. So let's start with a problem like 10. And we want to divide it by 2/3. How do we go about doing that? Well, just like multiplication, what we first want to do is convert everything here into fractions. So the 10 is very easy. We just turn that into an improper fraction by putting it over 1. Now, instead of dividing, we're going to do something different. Early on, when we were learning about division and multiplication, we learned that the opposite of division is multiplication. So we're going to multiply. So we're going to change that division symbol to a multiplication symbol. But we're not going to bring this 2/3 down. Instead, we're going to turn this fraction into its reciprocal, which is 3/2. So now we can start to see that we have a multiplication problem instead of a division problem. And before we begin to multiply, we also see that we have a value here that can be broken down into primes. So we know that 10 equals 5 times 2. We put that over 1, and we're going to multiply that by 3/2. Well, we see here that we've got a value here, 2 in the numerator and 2 in the denominator, that we can simply cancel out. Now we can multiply across the numerator. 5 times 3 equals 15, and 1 times 1 equals 1. So our final answer is 15. Let's try another example. Let's say we have the number 7, and we want to divide 7 by 1/4. Well, it's very simple. Again, what we want to do first is turn that 7 into an improper fraction. So we're going to put 7 over 1. Then we're going to change that division symbol to a multiplication symbol, and then we're going to take the reciprocal of 1/4, which is actually 4/1. Now, all we need to do, since there's really nothing here to factor, since we have 1s in our denominators, we're just going to multiply across. So 7 times 4 is 28, and 1 times 1 is 1, so our final value is going to be 28. Finally, let's take a whole number like 8, and say we want to divide it by 1/2. And it looks tempting, like we could easily just turn this into an improper fraction and then factor into primes. But we have to remember, we're working with a division symbol here, so we need to turn that into a multiplication symbol. So let's first convert our whole number into an improper fraction. We have 8/1. We're going to change that division symbol into a multiplication symbol, and then we're going to take the inverse of 1/2 and turn it into 2/1. Now we have two fractions here that we can multiply. Now it looks here as though we've got 1s in the denominator, so there's really nothing to factor out, so we're just going to go ahead and multiply across. We say 8 times 2 is 16, 1 times 1 is 1, and our final value is 16.